The darkness fades away to reveal Sean Holt, a stunningly handsome man, wearing an Obama '08 shirt. He holds up a black shirt with white text, straight outta hair. Now with the shirt on, Holt prepares to speak. Hey everyone, just a quick note. The reason why I am narrating some of these videos, having voiceovers, is because I know that one person who watches my videos is Mason, who is a blind guy. So I'm kind of doing it to accommodate him when I hold up something, or if I'm wearing a shirt and there's just a pause, he doesn't know what's happening. So I kind of throw in some narration just for him or for others who can't see. So that is the reason I'm doing that. I don't know if I'm going to do it for every video, and I'm probably definitely not going to do it in every instance. But just when I can think about it, I want to throw that in there just for Mason or any others who have this condition. So that's that. You might remember if you've seen it, especially if you've watched the whole thing, which would be very impressive because it was like a 42-minute video. You may have remembered I got this book, The Key to the Indian by Lynn Reed Banks, who is the author of Indian in the Cupboard. And this is like the 4th or 5th book in the series. Well, I was at the bookstore browsing for books and I saw The Return of the Indian, which I was like, oh, is that book 2? I need that. So then I saw signed, but I'm real excited I got both of those. If like the 10-year-old me would have known I'd have 2 signed books by the author of Indian in the Cupboard, I probably wouldn't have really cared because I wasn't into books then. But okay, the 15-year-old me would have been like, ooh, sweet. Well, maybe the 25-year-old me? I don't know. The thing is, I'm happy to have it. So, another book the 20-year-old me or 15-year-old me or 10-year-old me would have been super thrilled to have, but it's W.P. Kinsella, Kinsella? I should know. I've seen the movie a billion times. But it's from the author of Field of Dreams. The actual book is called Shoeless Joe. So, I mean, that is the name of the book that the movie was adapted from. And I read that about 2 years ago, Birds. And I liked it somewhat, but for that book I would definitely say the movie was better. The movie improved it. And there were just some things in the book that were just like awkward. For instance, in the book, the main character, Ray, has a twin brother, and he talks about how when they were kids, they would pull out their wing-dang doodles and hold them up next to each other to compare the sizes to see if they were similar in every way. That is in the book. Why did that scene not make it into the movie? I wonder. But that is an example of the movie improving the story. I mean, we did not need that scene. So anyway, a signed book by W.P. Kinsella, Box Socials. So it's actually apparently a baseball book, so that's real sweet. I'm happy to have that. Okay, now we're going to do 3 books that are actually unsigned, but I just got them today. There is Germinal by Zola, Emil Zola, I don't know. But this is a top 1000 book off this book, 1000 Books to Read Before You Die by James Mustich. I'm kind of going through that, trying to read every book, and I'm somewhere about like 250 or so. But anyway, I just saw this at the bookstore and it's only $3, so I was like, may as well get it. It's a top 1000 book. Next is another book off the top 1000 list, but it's Tom Wolfe, The Bonfire of the Vanities. I've heard of this book. I don't know if there's a movie or anything about it. I imagine there probably is, but I haven't seen it. So I don't actually know where I've heard of this book before, but I've definitely heard of it. So it's a top 1000 book, so I need to read it eventually. So I was like, well, may as well get it. Last of all, for the unsigned books, I got Stalin's Door by John St. Clair. This is actually from a author that I follow on Twitter. So I've seen him on Twitter a bit. And anyway, basically what happened was he just posted a link, something about asking for a retweet or something like that. So I was like, well, I was in a book buying mood, I guess, so I was like, well, I'll just buy a copy. So it's just kind of taking a risk on it and supporting another author out. So I guess it's kind of historical fiction, something set either in World War II or post World War II, I don't know. The way I am, I don't like to know anything about books before reading them. I just like to start reading and see if the author can pull me in or not. I actually never read the back of books at all. I mean, like, even still, I haven't read the back of the book. But I'm going to go ahead and do that now, just so you guys kind of get an idea of what it's about, because maybe you'll want to buy it. And I'm not doing this for other books because, frankly, I don't know. I don't care. But for a smaller author, for a newer author, whatever, it could really make a difference. So, anyway, the back of the book says, at the dawn of the Great Terror, a daughter growing up in a privileged Soviet enclave, a husband drummed out of the Soviet Navy, a grandmother forced into exile, all will discover an incredible secret. So anyway, that is Stalin's Door by John St. Clair. No clue about it really. It's some kind of a historical fiction, and he's kind of a newer author, so if you guys want to check him out, go ahead. Okay, and signed books I got today. First off, it's actually not a signed book, but anyway, you'll see why in a second, but it's The Sweet Hereafter by Russell Banks. And the reason I got this, it's a top 1000 book, but I also saw that he had this signed book here, The Reserve, and they actually had 2 books by him at the bookstore. There was this book, The Reserve, and also Affliction. And the reason I got this one was because it's a specific signed edition book, so I can trust the autograph a bit more. But anyway, so Russell Banks is on the top 1000 list for The Sweet Hereafter. So I'm kind of taking a risk on it. I needed to read The Sweet Hereafter anyway. So, I don't know. I'm a sucker for signed books, and I was in a book buying mood. Next, I was pretty excited when I found it because I actually have read a couple books by him, but I didn't really like them very much, which, surprise, surprise, I tend to not like anything. But it's Vince Flynn, Executive Power, and it's autographed. So that is real sweet. I think I've actually read this book. I think it's the first book in his series, maybe? The thing I do not like about Vince Flynn, first off, is his over-reliance on silencers. So he'll talk about these guys who have these guns, and like rifles even, and he'll talk about how they fire all these shots, but they have silencers on, so like people in the next room don't even hear the gunshots. And silencers just do not work that way. They lower the sound of gunfire by a few decibels, but they don't just make silent pssts like in James Bond movies or whatever. That's not how silencers work, I think. And that just bothers me. But then the other thing that bothered me is, I think in the first book, basically what happens is terrorists take over the White House, and it's kind of like a Die Hard thing. Or there's also the movie with what's-his-name where they do the same thing. They take over the White House. And in that book, what happens is the terrorist is right there in the Oval Office with the president, and the Secret Service grabs the president and takes him off to a secret bunker, and they just leave the terrorist there in the Oval Office. They just grab the president and go, and no one grabs this guy standing in the office meeting with the president. They just leave him there. And I'm like, why would the Secret Service just leave a guy in the Oval Office while there is a threat on the president's life? I mean, I could get that some of the agents would grab the president and put him in the bunker, but not all of them. Someone would remain behind to grab this guy, to get him out of the Oval Office, to get him out of the White House. They would not just leave him there in the Oval Office. It just drove me crazy, and that was really just the end of the book for me, because it was such a gaping plot hole. Just that, no. So Silencers and then that kind of killed Vince Flynn's books for me. But I was excited to see a signed copy of this, and I'm a sucker for signed books, and I was in a book buying mood, so I got it. Last of all, and it's actually a top 1,000 book, and I've actually read it or tried to read it, and I did not like it. Surprise, surprise. But it is Cry the Beloved Country by Alan Paton. And I can tell you really easily what I did not like about this book is the dialogue in the book is all made up of dashes. So I don't know if you can really tell, but it's all just in dashes. There's no quotation marks, and there's also no dialogue tags. So it doesn't say, you know, quotation marks, mom said, blah, 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 dad said, whatever. It's just dashes, and it kind of leaves it up to you to figure out from context who is speaking. And I have never seen books like that, and that is just... I tried to put up with it for a time, and I read a few chapters, but it was still just driving me crazy. And yeah, I don't know, there may have been a couple other things, but in the end, I just could not read this book. But it's a top 1,000 book, so when I saw it, I was like, hey, I may as well get it. So that is it for this sort of follow-up to All My Signed Books, or part 2 of All My Signed Books, / second book haul of 2021. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!